Thank you, dear Mr. President, dear Secretary General of the Congress, dear President. On behalf of the Ukrainian government and the Ministry of Communities and Territorial Development, I express my sincere gratitude to the Council of Europe, the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities, and all international partners for your continued support of Ukraine in this critical time. The Russian military aggression has caused unprecedented challenges for the government, local governments, businesses, and the people. Ukraine is currently experiencing one of the most massive attacks on civilian and critical infrastructure in the modern history, not only of my country. For example, every night, between 150 and 200 drones are launched against Ukraine. It is expected that by the summer of 2025, Russia may be able to use up to 500 drones in a single massive strike. And every day, the number of casualties and the amount of destruction is growing exponentially. According to the latest RDNA-4 estimates, 261,500 objects have been destroyed or damaged, and the total amount of damage caused by the aggression is almost $524 billion, of which only $6.2 billion have been funded. Every day the war adds to the destruction. The war takes lives of people, children and adults, civilians and soldiers. Thanks to the courageous and heroic armed forces of Ukraine and our people, we have been able to survive. The invader gave us 3 days and claimed that after that Ukraine would fall. He will not be able to resist Russia. We are now in the 4th year of this grueling war. Ukrainians have pushed the enemy back from the capital Kyiv, from Chernihiv, Sumy, Kharkiv regions, partially from Kherson region. They did not allow them to advance further in Zaporizhzhia region. Thanks to international assistance, thanks to you, our dear European partners, thanks to the people of the United States of America, we were able not only to survive, but also to keep fighting, to continue reforms and work on rebuilding the country and developing the territories. Ukraine will never forget how free Europe, from its leaders to ordinary people, supported Ukrainians in the first difficult times of the war. Thank you for that. The impact of the war, of the full-scale invasion of the Russian Federation, has changed the administrative, socio-economic landscape of the country, but at the same time, thanks to decentralization, strong communities and strong local leaders have made a powerful contribution to the resistance to the aggressor. At the same time, almost 90% of Ukraine's territory is occupied. 467 territorial communities, including 3,842 settlements, are under the hostile regime. The area of the occupied territory is 114,000 square kilometers. In comparison, this is 4,000 kilometers more than the area of Bulgaria. It's almost the area of Lithuania and Latvia taken together. Another threat is human resources, demographic crisis, lack of qualified specialists, the need to reintegrate the country after the occupation. The number of people who left the temporarily occupied territory is at 2.8 million, which is equal to the population of Lithuania. It's 1 million more than the population of Latvia or Estonia. The total number of internally displaced persons is about 4 million people, which is equal to the population of Croatia or Lithuania and Estonia taken together. About 5 million people have left Ukraine. That's a huge challenge for the country. Of course, the martial law establishes certain peculiarities of governing the territories where there are high security challenges, where hostilities continue frontline and occupied territories continue, for prompt decision-making in conditions of uncertainty, ensuring coordination with the military command and adapting management processes to the dynamic security situation. This is a forced necessity, a special system, a temporary one. At the same time, we have budget imbalance and deficit, a rapid decline in the level of revenue of frontline regions and communities, caused not only by the socio-economic characteristic of the territories, but by security factors. The state, through the mechanisms of additional subsidies, ensures that the revenues of local budgets of the frontline communities are at least as high as in 2021, that is the last year before the full-scale invasion. The need to quickly restore vital facilities, from housing to critical infrastructure. Ukraine is a country that continues to rebuild during the war. Even in the face of such difficult challenges, Ukraine has maintained its internal unity. It strengthens its internal cohesion. Side by side, cohesive communities is a national project through which communities from Western and Central Ukraine support communities and people from the frontline regions. The project currently has 244 partnerships between 303 communities. The project is gaining momentum. The restoration of various infrastructure facilities has started. That is educational, medical, IDP accommodation facilities that results for several months. And within this context, we invite our foreign partners, European cities and regions, to join this initiative as part of international partnerships. All the reconstruction and reform process must meet the needs of the people. Almost 11 years ago, with support of the Council of Europe, we created the concept of the local self-government reform. Now, given the disproportion of the regional development, we're working together to bring back the concept of the local self-government reform. With account of what has already been done, the progress, the Euro integration, military challenges, public investment management reform, and digital tools. And in this context, we're very grateful to the Council of Europe for its expert and political support in developing the basis for the updated concept. Its main elements will be a description of the progress already achieved, the impact of the war on local self-government and continuation of the reform. For example, the issue of military administrations, increasing the financial capability of the communities, accessibility and quality of public services, challenges and adaptations of tasks to the rapid process of European integration, integration of related reforms on digitization and public investment management, increasing the institutional capacity of local governments, their training, end-to-end consultations with all stakeholders at all the stages of governance, implementation of a procedure for overseeing the legality of local authorities, and many other things. Ukraine is now not only fighting for its freedom, but it's also forming a new public administration architecture that meets the challenges of today and European standards. At all levels of governance, recovery and development are becoming more systemic and consistent through the implementation of strategic planning. On the basis of the strategic approach, public investment management reform is underway, and every kopeck spent should work to achieve a high-quality strategic result for the people, to meet their needs, to implement their rights. Transparency and accountability, inclusive dialogue are the daily practice of our work. We're building a strong and people-oriented multi-level government, including local self-government, even in the most difficult military conditions. But in order to achieve this goal, we need further international partnership, not only financial, but also expert political and institutional ones. I call on the representatives of the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities to further support Ukraine, to expand intermunicipal cooperation, to involve Ukrainian communities in European projects, to share experience, engage experts in reforms and building an effective model of local governments. We will survive, but together, with your support, we will be able to recover and develop faster, stronger, and even more democratically. Ukraine holds the borders of Europe. We are strong only together. There are forces trying to destroy our unity, but we all realize that only if we're united with a common goal of achieving security and prosperity, we have a future. All of us. Because if the cudgel of authoritarianism and tyranny can rise above the free world, everything we love, everything we care about will disappear. This is exactly what is happening in Ukraine now. War takes away the most precious things. These are my thoughts in peaceful and spring-like Strasbourg, the capital of European parliamentarism. Glory to the free and united Europe. Glory to Ukraine. And glory to the heroes. Thank you.